Hello and welcome to LA Times Today. I'm Spectrum News 1 anchor Lisa McCree. And for today's top stories, let's check in with the Spectrum Newsroom.
I'm Spectrum News 1 anchor Amrit Singh. After months of speculation, former Vice President Kamala Harris says she will not run for governor of California. Harris did not say what she plans to do next. There is speculation she may consider a third run for president. She says for now, she'll work to help elect other Democrats to office. Kamala Harris's decision to stay out of the governor's race could help kickstart the campaigns of other state Democrats who've struggled to attract attention and donors in their own race for governor. Concerns about a large tsunami hitting California have not materialized. The concerns were prompted by a powerful underwater earthquake that struck off Russia's east coast yesterday. Small tsunami waves arrived in California today. The highest waves peaked at about 4 feet in Crescent City, damaging a dock there. The highest waves in the United States were reported in Hawaii at 5.7 feet. Officials say the wave action will continue for a bit, but no major issues are expected. A new study shows the COVID pandemic aged our brains faster than usual, even amongst people who never got COVID. Authors of the study said the effect was subtle but measurable. The study suggests that the cumulative stresses of the pandemic, like prolonged isolation, disrupted routines, and reduced physical and cognitive activity, all contributed to the brain changes. And that is today's Essential California.
The pain you're putting families through, I hope you gently consider what you're doing to my family.
It is a heartbreaking scene. Children left to cope in the wake of their moms and dads being detained by ICE. Over the past month, immigrant parents across Southern California have been scrambling to make emergency plans for their families, fearing they could be taken away at any moment. LA Times reporter Jenny Gold wrote about it and joined us. Jenny, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
How many kids are at risk of having one or both of their parents deported? Do we know?
We know about 5.6 million children who are American citizens have at least one family member in their household who is undocumented. Half of those kids have no parent with legal status. So they are at particular risk of being left if both parents are deported. And of this group, about 2 million are under the age of 6. So these are really little kids.
Well, now there is a rush by families who are desperate to make emergency plans, just like they would in the case, as you write, of earthquake or fire. What are they doing?
So there are forms that these families can fill out that designate someone else to care for their children and get them some medical care, enroll them in school if the parents are deported. And there's all kinds of legal advocacy groups across the state that are really encouraging families to have these incredibly difficult conversations and decide who they'd like to care for their children in their stead if they don't want their children to come with them to their country of origin. The forms that are most commonly used for this, it's called the caregiver's authorization affidavit. And it essentially is kind of like a temporary caregiving situation. It's not the same as giving up your parental rights, for example, which is a much longer process, or an all-out adoption, which is, of course, much more permanent.
Well, if they don't have this contingency plan, what might happen to the kids? Would they just be taken by social services?
This is a great question. I reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, and what they told me is that they always ask immigrant parents who are being deported what they want to happen to their children. These affidavits can help instruct them, but the parent will still be given an opportunity to say, I want my kid to come with me, or I want my kid to go to this safe adult. Now, if the child is undocumented, often they'll kind of just go live with another family member so they don't also end up being detained. If they are, those children may be transferred to the care of the government, and sometimes they're put into institutional settings. Sometimes they'll seek a sponsor to take them, but the vetting of those sponsors is difficult now, and some of those kids end up in these institutional settings for a longer time.
Jenny, you spoke with families who are going through this process. Tell us about some of them.
So this woman, Sonia, she told me she's got 3 kids. They're 4, 7, and 10. And she's been working in the fields for the last 25 years. But the thing that she told me that really, as a mother of young children myself, got to me is that her 4-year-old, so she hasn't been able to take him to preschool because she's too scared to leave her house. Her kids are all citizens and they do not, the parents don't have legal status. So she's been sending the neighbor to take her 4-year-old to preschool. And the 4-year-old is noticing. I mean, he's really scared. He's like, why aren't you taking me to preschool? She doesn't know what to tell him. It's too much to tell him, I may be deported. You may not see me again for a long period. So she's just she feels like a bad mother, but she doesn't know what to say. She also told me her 10-year-old understands much more. He's been asking a lot of questions. He's been so anxious that his teachers actually referred him to psychological services at the school to get some support.
You mentioned all of these organizations out there that are trying to help people get prepared. They've seen a rush, people signing up, and even if they're not attending in person, they're attending virtually.
Yeah, absolutely. These legal aid organizations are encouraging people to fill out these forms just to make sure they have a plan. And they're seeing a flood of folks coming into the office and even more so attending these online Zoom sessions because people are so scared. I mean, they don't want to leave their house right now if they can help it.
What's the government say?
Well, the government says if you are detained, you will have the opportunity to say where you'd like your kids to go. But the real solution here, the government says, is for these people to self deport with their children. If they leave the country on their own, they'll get $1,000. They can do it through an app, and then they can have a chance to come back legally the right way and get a legal status. That's what the government is recommending.
By the way, I didn't know until I read your piece, Jenny, how many American children there are living in Mexico.
That fascinated me as well. We know there are 80 to 100,000 American citizen children living in Mexico, and many of them are thought to be because the parents were deported and wanted their children to go with them.
Is there advice out there for people as they are trying to make this unthinkable decision of who to leave their children with? I mean, should it be a relative? Should it be someone with legal status? Anything?
Well, the folks I talked to recommended that people pick someone with very solid legal status in the country, preferably a citizen, so that they're not also at risk. I spoke to one woman who was a nanny, and she ended up selecting her former employer to care for her kids because she felt she couldn't trust that someone from her Guatemalan immigrant community was going to have standing to say what was going to happen to her kids. So she picked her former employer, who was a white woman who she felt her word would be respected. And another thing I just have to put in here that I thought was fascinating is that it's really not just people without legal status that are filling out these forms. It's people with DACA, green cards, even naturalized citizens who I'm hearing are rushing to fill out the caregiver's authorization affidavit because they too are terrified that they may be detained.
Jenny Gold, writing for the Times. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage. And click the subscribe button here. You can also download our app and watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.